Alright, just as a warning, this bit is probably the stupidest bit I've ever done, but I've been feeling a bit nostalgic for those old 2006 PKing montages, so let's just go with it. Well, that was silly and fun, but we have 76 woodcutting, which means we have all the levels to complete Branches of Darkmeyer. We're gonna get right on that. Before the release of May's Quest Caravan, the best weapon to get after a Guthix staff was the Tier 70 Blisterwood weapons. Now that we have Vanquish, we don't really need these weapons except to kill Vyres. The weapons will be very useful for when we want to do temple trekking for some resources, but we mostly need to do this quest so we can eventually unlock the Sun Spear. Seems like there's a note in this blood crypt. Saphalon Hollow. I've desired to speak with you for so long. You don't know me, but I've been following you with great interest. I'll get straight to the point, for there is little time. I knew your parents. I was close to them, and you as a child, centuries ago when the land was free. I know you feel like some part of you is missing. I can give you answers. Why you've lived so long, your unexplained powers, the visions you have. Meet me in the clearing at the center of Sector 4. I have much to tell you. V. Who could this mysterious V be? Could it be the Fremennik, Hero King, God, person who got turned into a rock immediately after we met him? No, it's someone else. Oh, it's just this absurdly high-level little girl. Oh, nope. It's a tall vampire lady. Alright, so listen. If cat people and dog people and all these animal people are fur bait, do vampire bat people also count as fur bait? Bats are mammals, after all. Are vampire bat people mammals? Are these vampire people mammals? Or are they something else? Basically, what I want to know is, was Bram Stoker a furry? This quest really turns you evil. You need to get favor with the vampires by killing a bunch of Meyerditch citizens so you can free Meyerditch citizens from the torment of the vampires. For the greater good, I suppose. This part of the quest must suck if you're colorblind. Never again will you trick me, Venstrom Klaus. Oh no, I died. Whatever am I gonna do? Who's gonna save me? Perhaps... tall, sexy vampire lady? Oh, it is. Oh, I didn't know you cared so much about me. Venescula. Although we didn't get to thank Venescula for saving our lives, we'll have to get back to her on that. We can now craft as much blisterwood weaponry as we want, so we're not stuck using garbage weapons to kill vampires. And of course, the XP tome we get from the quest all goes to Herblore. Why wouldn't it? Now that we have the House Dracan set, I think it's about time that we built a costume room in our house to store some stuff. Fortunately, you can do this from the bank, but you need to still build the actual costume furniture in your house before you can access it from the bank. I guess it makes sense, but it's one of those things you gotta get out of the way. We don't have a high enough construction level to build everything yet, but we're just gonna build the best stuff we can for now. Okay, imagine this. You get a Soul Reaper task to kill the Chaos Elemental. You don't want to bring that much stuff with you just in case you get PK'd. You don't want to lose much money. So you probably bring like a salamander and some black d'hide or something like that. Something cheap, something easy. Problem is, the Chaos Elemental likes to unequip your gear while you're fighting him. So then you say, well, I just won't bring gear. But he also unequips your weapon. That's very annoying. How do you solve this? Well, if your inventory is full, he can't unequip any of your gear. How do you keep your inventory full if you're eating food while you're fighting the thing? Here's the secret. If you have an herb bag, you can fill it with some cheap herbs, and as you fight him and your inventory gets depleted of food, take some herbs out of the herb bag. Now you might be wondering, oh, I don't want to risk my herb bag. That takes 2 weeks plus to get doing herby werby. Here's the thing. As far as I'm aware, you don't lose the herb bag on death, and if you do, you can reclaim it from those mushroom people near the herby werby minigame. I haven't tested this, because I haven't died in the wilderness yet, knock on wood. So, try it out, but if something goes wrong, don't blame me. But if it does work the way I said, it's pretty nice. Or you can bring stews and just not destroy the bowls, if that really matters. There's a lot of endgame content locked behind the crystal walls of Prifddinas, so I think it's about time that we make an actual effort to unlock access to the city. This means we have to complete the quest Plague's End, and that means completing a bunch of prerequisite quests and getting a bunch of skills to level 75. Plague's End requires 75 agility, 75 construction, 75 crafting, 75 dungeoneering, 75 herb lore, 75 mining, 75 prayer, 75 range, 75 summoning, and 75 woodcutting. Needless to say, we're pretty far away from a lot of those levels. We need 6 construction levels, 7 summoning levels, 10 prayer levels, 4 herb lore levels. We have a while to go, but we've made it this far. I think we can manage. And what's the best way to get experience? That's right, not training the skill. It's trying to circumvent the way of playing the game and doing quests. We're going to do quests. But first, you remember the crafting meta. Get a bunch of uncut gems from the gem rocks in Al Kharid, and then cut them. We're pretty close to 75 crafting, so we're going to get it real quick with a little bit of gems, and it's not going to take very long at all. I mean, check it out. We got 75 right here. And like any self-respecting Iron Man, I used my penguin points on herb lore, netting us level 73. We're not going to get into a bunch of questing just yet. We need a little bit of a break from the great quest eyes of 2021. We're going to do some construction contracts and get 70 construction real quick, just because, I don't know, something about the number 69 has me excited to get level 70. We're also going to find ourselves at a nice comfortable level 70 summoning. It's a pretty good place to stop before we get into doing some of these quests. The first quest in our docket is While Guthix Sleeps. Did you know when this quest was first released, every other quest in the game was a prerequisite for it? It had some pretty steep requirements. We gotta gather up a crew to fight Lucian. Duradel, you're coming with us. Turiel, I don't know why we need you, but you're coming with us too. The Demon Boy of Mauritania. Let's go. Ismail, we need your help with dealing with... I mean, I guess Gommel's kind of strong, but he's really just a doorman for the Warriors Guild. Oh well. Gommel, you're up. See, now at least Sloane has a 99. Hey, Cyricius, remember that time that I helped you fight a bunch of squid monsters in your brain? Well, I need your help. You want to return the favor? I'm sure you won't die. I know Dark Squall is supposed to be this big bad guy who's helping Lucian, and he's this powerful mage and all, but it's really hard to take him seriously when he's wearing a cardigan. Oh, here's the big fight. Oh, it's my boy Gommel. He's probably gonna kick Lucian's ass. Guys, what the hell? You didn't even try. Well, with our useless friends dead, it's time to continue on with the quest on our own, and we have to talk to Movario. I'm a bit conflicted. On the one hand, the character model is very good. On the other hand, it really stands out against these cave goblins. Also, the timeline is kind of weird because you can complete the mysteries for the Infernal Source dig site and have Movario as one of your research team members. And yet when you talk to him here, he does not know who you are. In fact, you tell him you are Surok. You are not Surok. RuneScape's timeline is a mess. So part of this quest requires you to crawl through caves, and I think it's very interesting how they implemented this graphically. They didn't make a big cave. They made a regular-sized cave, but they shrunk our character model down, so it looks like we're inside a cave that's big, but it's not, because if you look at the size of the RuneScape tiles, they're actually bigger than what they would be if your character were full scale. So we've been scaled down, and the cave is of normal size, which I guess is a clever way of making a large map without having to make a large map, especially if the tile and grid movement isn't really relevant. You just gotta go from point A to point B. Damn, that statue's thick. So here's something neat. This depiction on this door, which leads to the Stone of Jas, spoilers, was the original representation of Guthix. If you don't believe me, you can go back in time to the post bag from the hedge thing that Jagex used to do, where in-game characters would answer questions. This is what Guthix looked like. I kind of wish they stuck with this design because when we did The World Wakes, we were met with a green space monkey guy, and I think it would have been more interesting if instead of green space monkey man, we had hairy skeleton. The Balance Elemental. Placed here by Guthix to protect the Stone of Jas. It can be defeated by a jackass like me. So Guthix, oh no, maybe Guthix knew that it was going to be me here. So the Balance Elemental could only be defeated by me, which is why it was able to be defeated by me. Ah, Guthix is always thinking, because that's totally what they were planning on back in 2009 when they made this quest. Surely touching this rock that contains cosmic infinity won't have any repercussions in the future. Oh my god, it's V! He's so tiny! Oh, and now he's handsome. And that's while Guthix sleeps. We mostly did this quest because it gives you 4 XP lamps worth 100,000 XP each. I know it's sacrilege, but we're not using it on Herblore. We're using it on summoning twice and prayer twice. There are other quests I want to do before we do Plague's End that will get us XP for Plague's End, but it requires us to get some summoning levels and prayer levels. So we finished this quest with 72 summoning and 69 prayer. Now begins the task of collecting charms so we can get 74 summoning. If you're like me and you don't want to leech as an Ironman, you can't really effectively run ED3 on your own, and if you do, you're not going to get many charms per hour anyway. As of right now, though, the Archglacior is also very good at giving you blue charms. At the time of recording this footage, that boss didn't exist yet. So exiled Calphites are very good sources of blue charms, some crimsons, and quite a bit of seeds. It's a pretty good place for low-level resource gathering, especially since you can use safe spots. The magic and defense XP here is decent as well. Hey, we got an effigy. We'll probably not be able to open it for a while, but we can leave it in our bank and it'll look pretty. A few crimsons and blues later, we got 74 summoning, which means we can now do the quest One of a Kind. But first we need to start and complete A Tale of Two Cats, because it's a prerequisite, since Bob the Cat is Robert the Strong, and One of a Kind is a Robert the Strong quest. This game's cat lore is so weird. One of a Kind is a pretty straightforward quest. You find a dragon rider, Hannibus, and you take him around the world, talking to people, talking to dragons, doing stuff that dragon riders do. We also run into Carapac, who's a bad guy right now, but in this quest he's not, because this quest was done before he became a bad guy, but he's not really a bad guy because he's doing stuff for a reason. As nice as it is to be able to complete some of the newer quests without having to do much of the older quests, it completely messes up any sort of coherent, cohesive storyline they're going for. A new player to this game would be confused as hell, and they wonder why people spacebar through their quests. The XP rewards from this quest aren't too bad, but the Dragon Rider amulet is the true prize. This amulet gives an extra 30 points of damage to every attack style, and it slightly buffs the Dragon Breath ability. It's pretty much the best amulet you can get before you get an Amulet of Souls, or a Reaper's Necklace, or the Essence of Finality. But it has a great utility. It doubles the amount of prayer experience you get when burying dragon bones. When paired with a Bone Crusher, that means you'll be getting 144 prayer experience every time you kill a dragon. It's not too bad. But as is normally the case, when I can choose between doing quests and grinding, I am definitely going to do the quests. Contact gives us prayer XP. You wouldn't dare use janky animations to attack us with bows and arrows. Quick, run, they're using janky animations to attack us with bows and arrows. But wait, Contact doesn't give prayer XP, what are you doing? You're right. I thought it did, but it actually doesn't. So I used the XP on summoning instead. Dealing with Scabarus does give prayer XP, however. 7,000. It's not a lot. It's not a lot. After completing Land of the Goblins, you can return to the Goblin base north of Ardoin, and you can fight some of the ghosts, the Goblin ghosts, the Priest ghosts, whatever the hell they are, and they drop bones. Wait, really? Yeah, that's what the wiki says. Okay, they're ghosts that drop bones. You bury the bones, and you can get about 14,000 prayer XP. And that gets us 70 prayer, which means we can now do what used to be the most diabolical quest in the entire game, with the hardest quest fight possible at the time. Now the boss is a pushover. Do you know who I'm talking about? Rather than collecting bones and training prayer the normal way, we're going to do Nomad's Requiem, which gives us a reward of 70 Soul Wars Zeal, which we can turn in for prayer XP. We're going to have to do this quest eventually anyway, so we might as well do it when the XP will be the most useful, and that's right now. Pay no mind to his model changing. He got a model update in a later quest, but they retroactively changed it for this quest, but only at some parts, because I guess when he's sitting on his throne, he is an object and not an NPC, so he's probably not as easily changeable. But fortunately, he is easily killable. Or is he? Oh, will he return? Yes. Yes, he will. But it doesn't matter, because Zimberfizz thinks he's dead, and he just wanted us to deal with him, and we dealt with him, so it's time for our reward. We're not going to do more work than we're expected to do without more pay. He'll need to give us a different quest if he wants that. Trading in all 70 Zeal gets us 71 prayer. It's not a lot of XP, but it was easy XP. Nomad, he just... he sucks. He sucks. He means nothing anymore. He gets harder later, don't worry. My favorite thing about Nomad, though, is this. With a bit better makeup, I could cosplay him. Yeah. The circus is in town, which means we get 75 ranged, which is a requirement for both Plague's End and Within the Light, the latter being a prerequisite for Plague's End. I realized I was pretty close to completing the Hard Mauritania diary, so I figured I'd just get that out of the way, and then I get some prayer XP from that with the XP lamp. I'm just kidding, I got Herblore XP. I'm an Iron Man. Most of it's got to go to Herblore, and it gets us 74. So I found a pretty decent method of training prayer instead of killing dragons is killing Dagonnoth Rex. You can safe spot him, by the way. I'm sure most people know about that. You just lure him to one side of the rock and then run around to the other side and he can't get you. He's pretty stupid. And since he's weak to fire spells, you can get away with using a Guthix staff here. In fact, I did use a Guthix staff here when I was getting my first dragon hatchet. It's not too bad. A higher level weapon is better, but you'll have pretty decent accuracy even with a tier 60 weapon. But I digress. Here's why it's good for prayer. The Dagonnoth bones, when sacrificed to the Ectofuntus, give you 500 XP each. Grinding the bones takes a little bit of time, and getting the slime takes a little bit of time. But now that we have the Mauritania Legs 3, we can teleport to the Ectofuntus 10 times per day and get 28 slime every time we go there. So that's 280 slime per day very easily. We can also trade 26 bones to Robin and he'll give us 26 bone dust and 26 buckets of slime. We do it in 2 sets of 13 and that ends up being 13,000 prayer XP if we use Dagonnoth bones. Also, we're getting some marks of war and we're getting some boss kills for unlocking stuff at War's shop. Probably not the best way of training prayer, but it's doing more than one thing at a time. And as an Iron Man, you want to try to make sure everything you're doing serves multiple purposes. Or maybe you don't. I don't know. I'm not really... I kind of suck at this game. You know, flying by the seat of my pants. Let's move on. Oh, cool. Another dragon hatchet. That'll be useful for when they release the woodcutting rework in a million years, and we need 2 dragon hatchets to get the highest tier hatchet in the game. Just like with Maddox and pickaxes. I realized another prayer training method I can do that might be better than killing Dagonnoths. But it requires us to get a few hunter levels. And to get those hunter levels, we need to do the giant dwarf. Trust me on this. We don't get any hunter XP from this quest directly. However, we do get hunter XP from the sequel quest, Forgiveness of a Chaos Dwarf. And then we can step foot into the big Chinchompa minigame distraction and diversion thing for the first time and get 72 hunter, which means we can now catch charm sprites. Charm sprites are colossal pains in the ass. However, if you catch 1,000 of them, you get the Yaktui stick, which gives you a 2% hunter XP boost. Now, do we need that hunter XP boost right away? No, but it is a master clue item, so we're going to have to get it eventually. It makes the most sense to do the grind now instead of later when the XP will actually be useful for us. There's kind of a gap at 72 that's filled by charm sprites, so we're gonna hunt charm sprites. It sucks, but we gotta do it. But before we catch 1,000 charm sprites, we're gonna get 73 hunter, which means we can now do the quest Crocodile Tears, which gives us some hunter XP. So we're going to take a quick break from the charm sprites and go do that. So the crocodile god that has boobs for some reason spat out another crocodile and we have to kill that crocodile because the other crocodile is kind of hangry. This quest is pretty lousy, not only because it's a Menaphos quest and none of the Menaphos quests are really individual quests. They're mostly one big quest split up into multiple quests for no damn reason. But it also requires you to do the agility pyramid, I think 5 times. And you can't do it before the quest. You need to do it after she tells you to do it, because if the pyramid is old, it's no good. It has to have been sitting on top of the pyramid for longer, I guess. Whatever, we finish it and we get the XP, and we also have a reputation boost in Menaphos now for when we have to get reputation, because that's a fun mechanic. It's so damn fun. We now have our enhanced Yaktui stick, and we got 74 hunter in the process. Using our god banner, we're going to boost from 74 to 76 to do what I wanted to do this whole time. Hunting giant dinosaurs. Hooray, big game hunter. I genuinely enjoy big game hunter. It's better when you have all the upgrades and when you have bladed dive and double surge and all that. We don't have those right now, but it's a decent source of decent bones without having to tediously kill dragons. And after you skin the dinosaur, you have a deposit box right there, assuming you've upgraded your base camp and you've been having your workers go out in the background while you're doing intro level account stuff, which I have been. I just never talked about it because I skipped all that intro garbage. I mean, look at all these bones. You get 680 XP per bone when you sacrifice them at the Ectofuntus. That's fantastic. That's basically a Frost Dragon bone. It's great. I was raised in a Catholic household, and there was a saying that they used to tell us at church. You kill dinosaurs and you go to heaven. Eviscerating the frogs and smearing them onto the spears doesn't give you a lot of Herblore XP, but it's enough for it to add up, and then we get 75 Herblore. Another Plague's End requirement out of the way. The great thing about grinding bones at the Ectofuntus is that it's totally AFK. You don't even need to bring pots with you. Put the bones in, remove the dust, take a piss while you're waiting. Many dinosaurs later, and we have 75 prayer. Another Plague's End requirement out of the way. It didn't take very much time for us to get 75 construction from construction contracts. And look at that, another Nomad quest we could possibly do in the future. What? He's not dead? Oh, you're crazy. How could he still be alive? Oh. Did you know you get access to a bonfire after you do the Violet is Blue quests? Yeah, well, it's a good place to train to get 74 firemaking, so you can do Firemaker's Curse, since that gives agility XP. And god damn it, I'm not training agility. But first, the Prisoner of Gluffery, because it gives 60,000 agility XP. It also gives 50,000 construction XP, so I probably should have done this one first. Oh well, and that's all she wrote. Firemaker's Curse. Did you know when this quest first came out, the firemaking requirement was something ridiculous like level 92? Jagex changed the requirement to 74 because who the hell in their right mind would train to 92 firemaking just for a single quest back before they came out with bonfires? That's right. This quest came out months before they introduced bonfires, which means if you needed 92 firemaking to do this quest, you had to make line fires. I'm convinced the blowback they got from this quest requirement is what got them to make bonfires in the first place, because they realized, wow, people hate this useless skill. Let's at least make it not awful to train. It still is, but it's not as awful. We're finally getting to the meat of the elf quests. Morning's End Part 1. Oh, well, that wasn't so bad. I'm sure the second part will be a breeze as well. Morning's End Part 2 is devious, but I have 74 agility, so I don't think the agility shortcuts will be all that bad. This big old list of items, though. This is going to take a while. I forgot to switch the mirror on the second trip. I never forget to switch the mirror on the second trip. I never have to do the second trip. I always have a death towel. Damn it all. Okay. All right, that's done. With Morning's End Part 2 giving us 20,000 agility XP, we now have 75 agility, which means we have all the levels we need to do Plague's End. But we still have some quests we have to do as prerequisites, so let's get on that first. How is this the only thing I recorded of Within the Light? I didn't even record me getting the quest. I have no footage of Within the Light except for me completing it. Well, I completed it. Hooray. Well, here it is, finally, Plague's End. This whole video is building up to this moment. We can finally gain access to the Elven City of Prifddinas. This quest came out in 2014? This quest is... Prifddinas has been in the game for 7 years. It feels like it just came out yesterday. It's time to assemble the Elven Lords and Ladies, starting with Lady Ithel, who wiped her memory so she would be hidden from the Ironworths, or something. Let's go. Lord Amlod, I summon you. Let's get moving. Lady Traherne.
What?
I know.
Yes,
can you
yes,
hear?
dearie.
We're trying to get the city
Oh,
back.
I love the city. I'd love to see it again. But we need to sing the crystal
we need to sing the
first.
crystal. Yeah, you hear me? Okay, good. Yeah, well, I'll meet you there. Lord Cruis is a tree, and there is a camp right next to him, a military camp. So it's likely that they started clear-cutting the forest. He could have been murdered, and we wouldn't have been able to go back to Prifddinas. Lady Heffen is in a really annoying spot that you have to go to for some Tetra compasses. I hate it. And finally, Lady Mylater is hiding in Demonheim. And of course she'd hide there, because who the hell goes there anymore? I like light puzzles. I was gonna go into a huge rant about why people should like them more than they do, but I decided not to. Because I'm sure the only thing less interesting than a light puzzle for most people is a rant about how much I like light puzzles. And now, with the light puzzle completed and the Dark Lord defeated, we can enter the ancient city of Prifddinas, and so many new possibilities await us. Did you really think I was going to do anything else except for go straight to these harps? We need to unlock invention, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care.